Scott Drew is staying with the Baylor Bears after a strange 48 hours. Speculation running rampant. Was he on the plane? Was he not? Scott Drew is staying in Waco. Take that, Kentucky. You can't get Scott Drew at a Waco. You can't get Danny Hurley, despite reports of a $100 million deal on the table. You are striking out. You're going to miss John Calipari pretty soon. I promise you that. You're going to. You are. I'm Pete Mundo, Heartland College Sports. We cover the Big 12. It is great to be here with you as we roll through another show. Hit that thumbs up right below the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want the best Big 12 coverage anywhere on YouTube, on a podcast, whatever it might be. So here's what went down on Wednesday. It was a weird day. Scott Drew is posting photos from Mexican restaurants. Rumors are circulating that guys from Kentucky are calling him at said Mexican restaurant, trying to get him to come to Kentucky. There's a plane going from Waco to Lexington, and then a report comes down late on Wednesday night that Scott Drew's family was in Lexington, which is a weird play, but you also understand it. Basically, Scott Drew, I believe, said to his family, go check it out. Go get the pitch. Go check it out, see what you think. And according to reports, Scott Drew's family, he's got kids in college and high school, said, Dad, Waco's home. We've been here 2 decades. For most of them, they've been there, obviously, their whole lives. That's home. This is what we know. We want to stay. And Scott Drew, to his credit, said, you know what? That's cool. I can win here. I can win national titles here. I've done it. I can do it again. I'm making millions of dollars. I'm good. And in a day and age where that kind of mindset is lost on a lot of people, I respect the hell out of it. You know, we're not talking about a guy in corporate America who's like, I got to move the family to go from making $100,000 to $500,000 a year. That's different. But Scott Drew has more money than he can ever spend. He's made tens of millions of dollars. He's got more money than his kids, if they're not idiots, can ever spend. So Scott Drew listened to his family, and there were multiple reports around that early on Thursday morning. His family didn't want to go. And while he would have made more money, it's not life-changing money when you're Scott Drew. And while we don't know exactly what Baylor's paying him because they're a private school, we believe, based on reports, he's in the $5 million a year range, and he'll probably get bumped up after this whole deal. He's fine. Life's not changing for Scott Drew either way. He'll do this at Baylor as long as he wants. And something tells me he's got a few more good years in him at the very least, right? So this was a guy who explored a move. And ultimately, despite being friends with the AD and it being Kentucky, one of the premier jobs in the sport, he turned it down. And if you're Kentucky, you got to be sitting there and looking at this thing and saying, what's it going to take? You know, we complain a lot about the college sports landscape, but one thing that we have to hopefully all agree on is that a generation ago, this is not happening. People don't say no to Kentucky basketball. People don't leave Kentucky basketball. And we've seen both of those things happen in the last few days. John Calipari, out. Leaving in conference for Arkansas. Kentucky tries to get UConn's coach, Danny Hurley. Reports are they put $100 million on the table. He said, no thanks. And Scott Drew also said, I'm good. It tells you a lot about how college sports, as much as there are issues, and trust me, we talk all about the issues and the problems, there are also reasons to believe that right now this sport is in a place, and college sports at large is in a place where guys can hang around. They can make a tremendous amount of money without being at a blue blood. It used to be the Kentucky job was going to pay you more than everybody else. You had to take it. It was life-changing money. But now all the coaches are making, for the most part, at the D1 level, maybe not life-changing money, but certainly very comfortable livings. And the top 10, 15, 20, 25 guys in the country all are making multi-million dollars. So they're doing well. It's the same reason a guy like Matt Campbell hasn't left Iowa State. I mean, Matt Campbell, is making a great living for Ames, Iowa, right? I mean, you got a guy like Matt Campbell making what, $3.5, $4 million to be the football coach at Iowa State, where, you know, when he pops up an 8-9 win season, hell, they're ready to put a statue up on campus. I mean, they're getting a little bit finicky up there in Ames when it comes to their football program. They're getting a little how do I want to phrase this? I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but they're getting a little greedy up there. But you know what? Matt Campbell has brought that to the table, to his credit. Matt Campbell has made it so that Iowa State fans suddenly feel like year in, year out, they should be able to compete. And a generation ago, Matt Campbell is not turning down some of the jobs he's reportedly turned down or turned down interviews to stay with Iowa State football. There were only a couple of guys that did that back in the heyday. Bill Snyder was one of them, where you stayed at a place that was not a traditional powerhouse because you loved it. Now you see more of it happening every day in college football and in college basketball. So programs are quick to fire, but the days of just picking your guy and saying, well, we are fill in the blank, right? We are Kentucky basketball. We'll get whoever we want. It's not like that anymore. And you saw that play out the last couple of days or so. And Kentucky fans are starting to learn this the hard way. You know, they haven't been through a coaching search in the last 15 years. They never really thought this whole concept that, oh my goodness, somebody would turn down Kentucky? Big Blue Nation? Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what's happening. And they're seeing it play out in front of their eyes. And I think they're surprised by it. And they didn't really expect this. The notion that the Baylor head coach, who, by the way, a lot of Kentucky fans were in our mentions in our videos over the last couple of days, and they claimed that Scott Drew wasn't really at the top of their list. They were trying for guys like Jay Wright. I went to Villanova. My wife and I met there. I can promise you, while I cover the Big 12, of course, I still have a passion for my alma mater, and that's what's great about the Big 12. I love the Big 12. I'm in Big 12 country, and I know the Big 12, frankly, better than the Big East at this point, but I also know Villanova. And Jay Wright was never going to take this job. Kentucky thought that he was actually going to come out of retirement for them. He didn't. Danny Hurley's not going there. Scott Drew is in their second tier, and he's turned him down. Where do they turn? Who do they look at? That's the interesting part of all this. But the broader 35,000-foot view is that the money in college sports has allowed programs that may not be perceived as blue bloods to retain their guys if they want to. And that is a very good thing for college athletics right now. And it's something we don't talk enough about with the good. There's a lot of bad, but there's also a lot of good. And by the way, Scott Drew staying at Baylor is great for the Big 12. It keeps one of the premier coaches at one of the premier schools, and there would have been a downstream effect here. It's likely Baylor would have looked at Jerome Tang or Grant McCasland at K-State or Texas Tech, respectively. And guess what? Those guys now are happy. K-State fans, Texas Tech fans are very happy campers right now. All right? They are also breathing a sigh of relief, as are all fans in Waco. So all over the Big 12, Thursday was a huge day. It was a celebratory day, and it was a good day for this conference because going into the 16-team Big 12, you want your top guys there lined up. And losing Scott Drew out of a basketball conference, I mean, I know the Big 12 is a football conference, but you get what I'm saying, a conference that considers itself the best basketball conference in America. Had you lost a national championship head coach, even if it was to Kentucky, one of only a couple of jobs in America that he might have considered, that would have been a kick in the gut. That would have stung. And it didn't happen. And the Big 12 can celebrate and Baylor can celebrate. They kept their guy. And I bet you in part, they put their money where their mouth is. So overall, great stuff. Very good day. And good luck, Kentucky. Good luck, Big Blue Nation. Have fun. You might keep getting rejected. We'll see how it plays out. I'm Pete Mundo, Heartland College Sports. Thank you for being here. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe as well. That way you never miss a show. And hop on the Heartland College Sports message boards. I started a Masters Week thread because I love Masters Week, and I don't want to be talking to myself. Something tells me I might. I can't get my staff to buy into golf, but I want to talk to somebody else on our message boards about Masters Week, because if not, it's just going to be me, and that's going to be sad. So join me there on the message boards. They're free at heartlandcollegesports.com. Click the members forum tab at the top, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Go Big 12.